Go check out our Twitter at @complete_MMA for the latest and greatest content we be posting every single day. You can also go find us on our Facebook, on our YouTube page, and our Twitch, all by MMA Complete. If you do follow our Twitter, make sure you go into our community page where MMA Complete accumulation has been gaining a lot of traction and followers lately, and we will get started with the show momentarily. And boom, we're live.
Boom.
What's going on, buddy?
Not
Episode
much, man.
147.
Yeah,
What has fucking happened over the last 3 days?
Yeah, it has. I just put it in the community. Yeah, it has. It is. Man, where the fuck? Where do you want to begin? You are the host. Where do you want to begin?
Let me begin by pinning the podcast real quick. Let's do that. And then what did I have set up here? What are we going to start the day with? Today we are going to start with the news that we have been waiting for 3 years now. The news that we have been clamoring, we have been talking about. Me and you. Hey, look at us. Me and you.
Yeah, I'm pinning
Austin
it. I'm pinning
Garvey.
I'm pinning it. Yeah.
And Zach Drapo.
Yep.
I've been talking about not only the Ultimate Fighting Championship GOAT, not only the baddest man on the planet, not only the longest reigning UFC champion there has ever been, not only Daniel Cormier's father, but one of the greatest athletes of all time.
I was not expecting.
We are talking about Jon Jones, who has just been announced to finally make his return at UFC 285 on March 4th to fight Ciryl Gane in what will surely be the recrowning of the king, who will now officially, well, not now, but in 2 months' time, officially be the baddest man on the planet.
His second career.
This is almost like his third.
He is the GOAT.
This is almost like
yeah, but he's undoubtedly the GOAT of the light heavyweight division, no matter what. Now he's moving to light heavyweight. Now
he's moving to heavyweight.
Heavyweight, I mean. Now, yeah, but he's the GOAT of light heavyweight. Now he's on his career of being the GOAT in the heavyweight division. This is like a second accolade for him, second career. Like, no matter what happens now, like, he is still the GOAT.
We compared it to Tom Brady going to the Buccaneers. I think it was a really good comparison. It's really what's going to happen. Except, so there's a lot of stuff to unfold. We're going to get into it. And it's great because we only got like 3 things to talk about today. So we can spend a lot of time on all 3 of them, which I think is good. A little bit later in the show, I have some fucking news for you for UFC 283. Coming up this weekend, which you can check our Twitter at @complete_MMA to see if we're doing live reactions. We still haven't made that decision yet, but it's very possible that we do. So you're gonna have to check out our Twitter at @complete_MMA to figure that out. There's some things.
You definitely have this one off.
No. Oh, 285. Fuck yeah. Oh, I have the next 2 off.
Yeah, you don't have this one.
284. No, but I'd probably be able to get out at like 8:30 again.
Okay, that's besides the point. Anyway.
So the most shocking news that came out of these last couple days, to me, is that now Dana White has said a lot of shit over the last 2 weeks.
Oh, this day. Oh, okay. I know what you're gonna say.
No, you don't.
About it today?
I don't think you do.
You tweet about it
no,
today?
we're gonna get into Francis Ngannou talks later. Okay. The one thing that Dana White said though that really shocked me was that Jon Jones signed an 8-fight deal. He said that. Signed an 8-fight deal.
That's what I want to say. That is a lot, and
that's a lot.
And I want to point this out. I said that with Paul Craig signing a 6-fight deal. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of fights. A 6-fight.
We see
deal.
like 3, 4, 5-fight deals usually.
Yeah, like Donald Cerrone, probably the first one to do it. I'm guessing when he got signed after fighting Conor, he got a 7-fight deal or 6-fight deal. Got over $1 million deal.
Right, but that's $1 million over 7 fights, whereas Jones is probably going to get $1 million per 8 fights.
Oh wait, it's
exactly.
If he can bring his name.
Ngannou was offered $8 million to fight Jon Jones by the UFC.
A lot of hype to his name because I read something on before I came over here. Like Conor McGregor has 8 of the 10.
Yep.
Most selling.
He's main evented 8
Jon
of the
Jones
UFC's
needs
top
to get
10.
up there. He needs to get up.
Jon Jones has not been on a top 10 selling pay-per-view.
If he knocks out, which I doubt that he's gonna knock out Ciryl Gane in like record time, not record time, but like to draw a lot of hype.
Mm-hmm.
I do think he can knock him out in the 4th round, though.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. 4th round knockout.
Didn't you say 2nd round or 4th round? Have you
4th
always
round.
said 4th round? Yeah.
I don't know if I've always said 4th round, but that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I think
I actually
4th
had a
round.
tweet do pretty well today where I described exactly what I think is going to happen,
Mm.
and I think it's pretty good. I think John Jones will maybe lose the 1st round.
You want to read that tweet out? Or?
Yeah, okay. I'll put it out there. Who had the tweet? Because I want to shout them out too. All right, so this was my reply to MMA Gone Wild. Very big MMA page. 1st round, I said both fighters get hit. I said Jones tries some spinning shit because I think after a long time, he's going to have some ring rust. And he's going to come out like John Jones normally does and try to acclimate himself to his opponent and see how they get started. And I think he's going to try to get used to the distance, and he's going to try to make sure he's sticking and moving and being very agile. And I think he's going to try some spinning shit, whether it be a spinning back fist, spinning elbow, whatever.
Yeah.
2nd round, I think John Jones is going to start using leg kicks. Tai Tuivasa had a couple leg kicks on Ciryl Gane in their performance, in their fight, which I thought was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Ciryl Gane also got almost knocked out by Tai Tuivasa. He got knocked down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And with his short of a reach, Tai Tuivasa had such a shorter reach than Gane, bro. I'm so confident.
Let me see that. What is Tuivasa's reach? I don't think it's that much shorter, to be honest with you. 75-inch reach? Yeah, okay. So he had Ciryl Gane has an 81-inch reach. So it's a 6-inch reach.
But what does John Jones have?
85. 84 and a half.
That's what I mean.
I get what you're saying. I think that John Jones is going to do a lot of work in the clinch in this fight. In Ngannou, I get that there's a huge strength discrepancy. Maybe not huge, but Ngannou's stronger than both of those guys, Gane and Jones. And I think that played a big part in the clinch work for Ngannou. And I think Jones will be able to exploit Gane's clinch work, if not wrestling.
Dude, he's gonna. If Ngannou can out wrestle Gane, like this is another thing. Like, if Ngannou can out wrestle Gane, what the fuck is John Jones gonna do?
Well, that's the huge part of it.
It's so like crazy to me. Like,
for me,
this guy's gonna mop him up. He's gonna make these heavyweights look easy. I feel like. I really do.
I don't know, because the only reason I say that is because it just like it seems like
Pavlovich is
nothing lasts forever besides fucking Khabib, who got out really early. You know, like good for him. He got out on top. He didn't have to die by the sword. But John Jones is now, like, in my opinion, at least going to fight 4 more times in the heavyweight division. And I do believe that he will be knocked out at some point. I think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be Ciryl Gane. I think it's going to be something like fucking
Pavlovich.
No, I think Jones wipes Sergey Pavlovich off the face of the UFC.
Curtis Blades is
interesting.
I think Curtis Blades could get knocked out by Pavlovich.
I do too. If that fight happens, that fight's not even guaranteed. But like, say
it is going to happen. It will.
But it's not confirmed.
I know,
yet.
but it will.
But yeah, I think it will too.
I think we should tweet some shit out about that.
But I think like Curtis Blades brings an interesting dynamic too, because Jones probably won't want to wrestle Curtis.
Curtis Blades actually tweeted about the fight.
Yeah.
But Jones fighting Pavlovich.
But Jones probably won't want to wrestle Curtis, because Curtis is a really good wrestler too. Like, Curtis might be a better wrestler than John Jones, especially or at the heavyweight division.
I don't know. I feel like
he really might be.
I feel like he's been wrestling heavyweights for a long time. Not just
he has, but Curtis Blades has been wrestling with the amount of strength. Like, Jones is.
I feel like Jones
getting used to wrestling as a heavyweight. He's used to wrestling heavyweights, but he's getting used to wrestling as a heavyweight, which is scary. Yeah, which is scary. But Curtis Blades has been doing it forever, and he's a big boy, so he might not be like a way better wrestler than Jones, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's an equal wrestler.
I feel like he would use the clinch and he would use kicks against Curtis Blades.
That's a dangerous game. Curtis Blades has a really great clinch game. His Muay Thai background and his wrestling background are very good.
Never really watched John Jones fight. I've seen highlights, dude, but I just don't see anybody.
Oh, jeez, you never really?
Yeah, I've seen him fight.
Okay.
I've seen him fight a lot, but I mean, I haven't seen him fight like you have.
Right.
I haven't been like on his lap.
I got
You know
you.
what I mean? So I don't know. I think he is the best. These are the one fighter my dad used to talk about. So, you know.
Yeah.
I think he's probably he still holds records. He's still undefeated. You know, it's kind of like
He is
there's
undefeated.
some
We don't have
nostalgia.
to. We don't have to do that.
Yeah.
He's fucking undefeated.
There's some nostalgia around that. You know, an undefeated heavyweight.
Oh, 100%. Especially if he fights 8 more times, which I don't know if that's going to happen. John Jones is 34 now. He could. Depends on how active he wants to be. If he wants to fight twice a year, I could see him fighting 8 times.
If he makes quick work of him, he could be fighting every 3 months.
Dude, what if we see John Jones fight 4 times the next 2 years, go 4-0, beats Gane, beats Miocic, who now all of a sudden, since Ngannou's gone, Stipe's been talking on Twitter, which I find is really interesting. I
forgot all about him.
Which I find really interesting.
Stipe should fight John Jones next.
Curtis Blades, Sergey Pavlovich. Here is a name that I want you to think about. Stipe is a name. A man who's getting back from injury, who's going to have to win a fight or 2 to get to a heavyweight title.
Tom Aspinall.
Tom Aspinall. Now, I don't know Tom Aspinall's reach.
I think
reach is a big part.
I don't know who.
78-inch reach. John Jones still has a 6.5-inch reach.
Dude, I don't see anyone beating him.
Tom Aspinall. The reason I like Tom so much is because he moves like a welterweight. He is so fucking quick.
Yeah, I think
that
John
is something.
Jones is just as fast, dude.
I think Aspinall might be quicker. I do.
I think he is, but I'm not gonna knock.
I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference. I'd still pick Jones. I'm just saying, like
Jones. I'm picking Jones
now,
every fight.
Now think about this too. The last time we saw Jones against Dominic Reyes, and that's a fluke. I think that was his worst performance. But also realize that like these guys we're talking about in the heavyweight division now are similar to what Dominic Reyes was, and he pushed John Jones to a really close fucking fight. So one of these guys, whether it be Curtis Blades, Ciryl Gane, Ciryl Gane's likely more than others.
Fucks up Dominic Reyes if they fight again. Especially right now.
I mean,
would fuck him up.
Right now, with him being like 50 pounds heavier, yeah, I do.
Well, no, that's not what I mean. You know what I mean? Like, okay. I think he would fuck him up.
I don't know if he would.
Yeah, I would.
Jones has fought.
I actually replied that in the comments, and it kind of went traction. It kind of went gained like a lot of.
I don't know if it would, man. I'd like to think so. And I'd like to think that John Jones has gotten better over the last 3 years. But who's to say that he hasn't just gained weight and he's staying what he is? And he's not still just like the best of 2015, 2016 fighters. And he's just not – he still can be a great fighter, but he's not the GOAT of the current fighters anymore. Who knows? We won't know until March 4th.
Yeah, I mean, really won't. He is the GOAT right now. He's the GOAT of the light heavyweight division for now. And he's still fighting for a belt, so he's still on his consecutive title run. You know what I mean? Like that is now going to be. I don't see that being stopped. Who is going to beat him, dude? I don't know. It would have to be a knockout in the first round, really fast.
I don't even think that's totally true. 2 things are for sure. Jones isn't going to get gassed. It's just not going to happen unless. Let's not say not going to happen because he's never gone 5 rounds at his weight, which I'm sure he's done it the right way. He's put on the pounds over a long time. He's done his cardio. We see him running all the time. So I'm sure he has that on lock, but we won't know until it happens.
Yeah.
Or he gets knocked out. I think getting knocked out it
would surprise the hell out of a lot of people, dude.
This is the thing. John Jones has never been knocked down, much less knocked out. John Jones has also never fought someone with as close of a reach as these heavyweights will be fighting him. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
And now that he's fighting guys with a closer reach that will get closer to hitting him, who also have more power, it's definitely more likely he gets knocked out.
Dude, I guarantee you.
Dominic Reyes landed a vicious uppercut in their last fight.
I guarantee you, though. He wrestles with his brother, who was like 285,
yeah, but
275.
His brother's probably a really good wrestler, but he's not a wrestler of anybody's caliber.
He fucking plays football.
Right.
He's not nothing.
He's not nothing, no, but he's not on these guys' level of the MMA.
Yeah, but it definitely helps.
I'm sure it helps.
And it's got to be in John's genetics.
I'm sure that John wrestles a lot more wrestlers than just his brother at his weight. I'm sure he's fighting Olympic level wrestlers at his weight. You know what I mean? It's not like he has to, Chandler, please come over. Like, I need to wrestle someone. Like, I'm sure he has people.
He was at Henry Cejudo's gym.
Yeah, they've been training together for a long time.
Yeah. Ali.
Yeah. I find that interesting about Henry too. Henry is training against a guy with that long of reach. Do you know what the reach disadvantage of Henry Cejudo and John Jones is?
They're not training together. I think
they are
at their gym.
No, they are training together. They literally are like doing jiu-jitsu together.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Oh, there's their video there.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see that.
Do you want to guess what the reach discrepancy is between Henry Cejudo and John
Is there
Jones?
a video of it?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. It was on Twitter. No, it's 18.
Yeah, say it.
It's 18 inches. 18-inch reach. Yeah. All right.
18 inches.
John Jones versus Ciryl Gane is happening March 4th. That is UFC 285. Elsewhere on that card, because that card I'm sure will get another fight booked on it to add on to the John Jones versus Ciryl Gane shit that we are seeing. That fight will be in Las Vegas again on March 4th, the main event for that card. Also on that card, we have Derek Brunson versus Dricus du Plessis. We have Vivian Araujo versus Amanda Ribas. We have Cody Garbrandt coming back to fight Julio Arce. We have Bo Nickel versus Jamie Pickett. So Bo Nickel, maybe the future of the UFC versus John Jones, maybe the past of the UFC. Who knows? Could be some interesting storylines there. And there was one other fight that I think got announced recently about it. But for now, that's it. I'm sure there will be a co-main event added to this card.
I hope it's Colby Kamaev or Blades Pavlovich.
Yeah, those would be two good fights. I'd also Arnold Allen told reporters that he was offered the co-main event but had to pull out because of a rib injury. The only fight I can see Arnold Allen being a co-main event for with the current status of featherweight fighters. He did tweet about it. That's what I saw.
Oh.
Well, he didn't tweet about who. No. But it would only make sense that it's Max Holloway.
Yeah.
That's the only fighter, because if you look at the featherweight division, you got Rodriguez versus Emmett that's fighting each other. Brian Ortega still injured. You have Arnold Allen at 4, Max Holloway at 1. Chan Sung Jung. I mean, Chan Sung Jung could be, I guess. I guess it could have been Chan Sung Jung.
Yeah, that co-main event though is not gonna. It's not gonna bring people to watch John Jones. Like Colby Kamaev brings more people to watch.
It definitely brings more. But I think Arnold Allen versus Max Holloway is
do you think Dana White kind of does it on purpose in a way?
Does what?
Not do it on purpose, but he sets fights up so like it doesn't sell as much. So it makes John Jones look bad that he can't sell a lot of pay-per-views. But then again, he never has help to sell.
No, I don't, because at the end of the day, I think the UFC just wants to sell as much pay-per-views as possible.
Blades Pavlovich, that doesn't really that wouldn't draw people either.
Wouldn't. Colby Kamaev
but it makes the most sense. Colby Kamaev's, I mean, maybe not that much more. If you think about it,
I think it does.
How much? Like,
well, not only
100,000 more.
Not only would the diehards really fucking love it, but that press conference would be insane.
Oh yeah,
that alone would drag another 50,000 people just from 2 days before the event, just because they're like, "Did you see these fucking clips?" Like, yeah, okay, let's go watch the fights. Colby versus Kamaev on the mic would almost be as entertaining as Colby versus Kamaev on the mat.
I feel like Kamaev needs to get better English.
His English has gotten a little bit better,
yeah,
but that might even be
for
better.
That stage, they could promote the fuck out of that.
That might even be better, because you have Colby talking his shit, talking about how his mom named him cum shot, and that's got to be so embarrassing, and how can he do this type of shit? And then you got Kamaev saying, "Who the fuck is this guy? Smash this guy!" Like,
yeah, you liked our tweet about him beating Kamaev, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He thinks he can beat him. I think he thinks he can beat Kamaev. Absolutely.
I'm positive he does.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think
you don't go into this. Listen, he almost, say what you want about him, he almost beat Usman in. You could make an argument for both fights. Like, the cards were 3-2 to Usman in the second fight, and there was a judge that had the cards 3-1 to Covington in the first fight until he got knocked out.
Interesting.
So he did amazing against Usman. And I mean, besides Leon Edwards, he did the best against Kamaru Usman we've ever seen. So if that happens to you, and then you go out there and almost 5-0 Jorge Masvidal, headlining a Madison Square Garden pay-per-view, like, yeah, I would probably think that I could beat the shit out of some rookie, is probably what he's thinking. He's not taking him lightly. He knows he's a great wrestler. He's super strong. But this guy's had 5 fights in the octagon. And Colby's like, I'm gonna fuck you up. Which, I don't know. We talked about this a little bit on the space. We talked about this a little bit on the space. I don't know.
I mean, I think Chimaev has better standing than Colby. Is that wrong to say?
It's not
Even
wrong
though he
to
has
say.
only
I think
fights?
it's very close. I think Chimaev has more striking power. I think Colby might have better striking technique.
Colby similar to Dustin Poirier? That's maybe slightly better.
Is Colby to Dustin Poirier?
Yeah, in like that division.
Well, Dustin's a division lower.
No, I know, in like that division, like division wise. Like you think I think they're very similar fighters.
I think
Colby's better.
I think Colby's cardio is a little better,
yeah.
And he pressures a little bit more than Poirier.
Yeah.
I think Poirier's striking's better.
You think Poirier's striking?
For my money, Poirier is one of the best pound for pound boxers in the UFC right now. I really think his boxing is spectacular.
Maybe
he doesn't knock people out, but his strike percentage is off the fucking charts. Like both of his fights against Conor, he had 70% significant strike accuracy, which is ridiculous, especially against a boxer like Conor.
Conor looks so bad though.
Yeah. All right, so coming up next,
to show himself,
we are going to be talking about Francis Ngannou because I'm actually happy about this because you didn't really watch a whole lot of it, the interview. I'm sure you saw the tweets going around, and you probably saw that I tweeted a fuck ton.
Oh, dude, I fucking pumped the pod, dude.
Oh, I mean,
pod had
today.
60. No, I'm talking like Saturday when the news actually dropped. Like, I was just tweeting like all our like old shit, like your stuff that you tweeted. I was just pumping it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just retweeting it and commenting under it. It was getting more and more likes.
Mm-hmm.
It was like so much engagement.
Mm-hmm.
It was insane.
Yeah, our podcast has like 220 views now on just our Twitter. I haven't checked the others.
Yeah, that before he got released, it had 67.
Yeah. So what happened was, I don't know if you want to talk about it since you were. I didn't know that shit went down until 10 o'clock that night. When you were over my house.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to look at my phone. I was working all fucking day. And
I texted you about John Jones.
So hungover and had no sleep that whole day. Saturday was a fucking mess for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to talk about it, or if you want me to, about what actually happened on Saturday.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I saw the interview.
I
was just saying it was crazy.
So on Saturday, what happened was the UFC put out a statement saying that Francis Ngannou was officially going to be released. Right. That was the day. Like he officially got released. So the lead up to it a couple days before had been talked about, and this was like the final thing. Now he's done, and on the same day, the T-Mobile Arena broke the fucking news before the UFC and Dana White could, because the T-Mobile Arena put out a visual on their stadium of Jones versus Gane, which will headline their stadium in Las Vegas on March 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, I noticed that you tweeted that it was at UFC Apex. It's at T-Mobile.
I did that. I did that for engagement.
Okay. So Ciryl Gane versus John Jones was put out by T-Mobile Arena. Dana White was not happy about that, and he said that in his post-fight interview of UFC Vegas 67, which was the first event last week, which we can talk about a little bit too, because Sean Strickland did really well. Props to you for picking that. But Dana had a lot to say. Dana had a lot to say about Ngannou. So what Dana said was, we offered him the highest paid contract in UFC history of a heavyweight. Francis instead wants to fight lesser opponents. Francis might want to go to boxing. He's ballooned to over 300 pounds, and he wouldn't have made the weight for the John Jones fight anyway. And there was one other thing that Dana White was sandbagging Francis about.
That'll all come to fruition if he actually fights in boxing and he weighs almost more than 260 weight. If he does weigh 300 pounds, then I'll believe it. But Dana White might just be talking out his ass.
So what I fucking thought was so funny. So that was Saturday.
Yeah.
And then Monday, yesterday, like mid-morning, 11 o'clock, Ciryl Helwani tweets out that he will be having a special edition of his MMA Hour podcast today. So it was tomorrow when he tweeted yesterday, but it was today, Tuesday special, interviewing Francis Ngannou. Dana White was so fucking mad. Dana White and Ciryl Helwani's a great reporter. He really is. He doesn't do what Dana wants him to do. He tries to interview good sources. Every now and then he puts out a lot of corny and stupid shit, which I don't agree with. But he is a MMA journalist through and through, whether that's to the good of MMA Twitter or to the bad of it. He actually puts out a lot of integral pieces of journalism.
If it wasn't him, it would be somebody else.
So on the interview today, a couple things happened. Francis Ngannou said a number of things, and it's basically what Dana did. Francis is pointing the finger at Dana. Dana's pointing the finger at Francis. Francis said one thing that I will say first. Before I get into why Francis should be painted as a good guy, I will go ahead and say what Francis and I disagree with, or what Francis did that I disagree with. Francis said the biggest reason for him not accepting a UFC contract was because in his negotiation period, he wanted to provide health insurance for UFC fighters that were not of his caliber, that weren't making $500,000 a fight. UFC fighters don't get health insurance; they have to pay for their own health insurance. I don't know if you knew
I
that.
thought they got provisions from the UFC. They have their own.
Some fighters have
facility.
Some fighters have their contracts. They have when they're under fight contract, they can go get checked out by UFC doctors. But like after the fight, after the fight, you're not under contract anymore. You got to go to your own doctor. So Francis he said that he would not accept the contract unless Dana White gave free health insurance to every single fighter, which could be a conversation for another day. I believe the UFC should give health insurance to UFC fighters, but
no shit.
Ngannou shouldn't make that part of his contract negotiation.
That's what I mean.
That's fucking stupid.
I think that is.
And he even said it afterwards. He was like, "Oh no, I'm sure the UFC will never do that." And Ciryl was like, "Then why did you make that part of your contract negotiations?" And he goes, "I wanted to see a change, and I wanted to fight for what I believe in." And so Ariel's like, "Okay, so I hear you out, and you're making good points, but you knew that was never going to get accepted when you tried to negotiate your contract. So you were never really trying to get in your contract, were you?"
I think Ngannou has a bad agent, and I think he needs to go and
That's the other fucking part. Ngannou hasn't had a manager or agent in 4 months. He's been negotiating by himself. And when Ciryl asked him, like, "Hey, you're really tight with Usman, who's represented by Ali. Like, have you ever thought about doing that?" And he's like, "Oh, me and Ali have a great relationship. We're really good friends. But I wouldn't want to mix that personal relationship with a business relationship." And I'm like, okay. All right. And he goes, "Well, do you think that you're being underrepresented by not having a manager that is well-versed in this kind of, negotiating period? Like, no offense, you're a fighter from Africa who doesn't know a whole lot about business." No, he didn't. I'm paraphrasing.
Oh, you should have.
You don't know a lot about business, or at least as much as these guys do. And Ngannou's like, "Yeah, but I'm a man and I know what I want and I should be able to get what I want."
No,
dude, that's just not how it works.
That's not how it works.
Like, you make a good point, and you trying to fight for people to get health insurance. Like, that's a good.
It's not really a good point. It's kind of dumb. It's kind of dumb.
To me, it seems like you were fine not having the UFC contract.
Yeah, like now you're gonna go make money somewhere else, and you still don't have health insurance, and you're still gonna get paid.
What I think is interesting.
I just don't get it. I think that's a fluke.
The other organizations, Bellator pays for fighter health insurance. Like Showtime Boxing pays for fighter health insurance. The UFC is one of. There's many organizations that don't, but UFC is one of those.
They don't. You're not gonna get a big of a platform on Bellator though. It's like, what are you gonna make videos on YouTube? Or are you gonna make videos on
Francis Ngannou
Twitch?
Was offered a 5-fight deal, and he was offered $8 million to fight John Jones. This is what I find interesting. Dana White says that Francis probably wouldn't have made weight for the March 4th date anyway. But he was offered $8 million to fight John Jones. So they wanted Francis to do it. Francis Ngannou was cleared from his ACL MCL surgery because he tore his ACL MCL before the Gane fight.
Mm-hmm.
He was cleared by that in November because it was 10 months after his surgery.
They wanted
Cleared
to
for
fight
it in November. Francis stated that at that moment, 8 hours ago on the MMA Hour that he was 275 pounds and that he has not been over 300 pounds in years. That's Francis's word. Take it for what you want. I kind of believe him.
I kind of believe him too.
Listen, he's not like, you don't ever see him fat. He's just really shredded. You know what I mean? He's coming to the octagon like weighing 262, 264. Like he's never, like barely made weight. He's always made weight.
Yeah.
So I kind of fucking believe him. And why would you offer him that fight and give him $8 million if you thought that he was 300 pounds and he would never make the weight? Like 300 pounds to 265 pounds in a month and a half training camp, that's tough. I don't care who you are. Brock Lesnar used to do that. And Brock Lesnar came out and talked about how he would never go to the UFC again because he couldn't make 265. You know what I mean? Brock Lesnar's different though. He's wide. Like he's off. That man.
He's also a steroid the fuck
That's
up.
true. That's a great point. So that was the gist of it. Francis talked about how he has an amazing relationship with Mick Maynard, who is the head matchmaker for the UFC. Who's the other guy? Hunter something. Hunter Campbell is one of the UFC's main representatives to fighters and agents and also matchmaker. He said that him and Hunter have a great relationship. He says he has not seen Dana White and had a conversation with Dana White in person since after the Gane fight, like right after the Gane fight. And he hasn't texted Dana in months.
Who said this?
Francis.
Dude, this guy is fucking... He is fumbling the fucking bag, dude.
Who, Francis?
Yeah.
How so?
What do you mean? You say he hasn't fucking talked to him in months.
Like I think
he fucking got offered $8 million to fight, and he didn't negotiate.
He's talking to UFC lawyers and he's talking to representatives and Mick Maynard. He's just not talking to Dana. It's common. It's not. Yeah, it's not uncommon for fighters.
We just talked about. I know, but we just talked about how Ngannou is not represented by anybody.
Yeah, 100%.
That is what I'm getting at.
Right.
He is fumbling the bag.
He's
fumbling
think so.
Everything.
I certainly believe that his intention was to not fight for the UFC again, though. He also, this is the last thing I'll say. He also said that Ariel Helwani asked him if he'd ever think about coming back to the UFC, and Ngannou said, "I'll never say never. I think that down the road, whatever happens, but it would have to be on my terms." That's what Ngannou said. So I don't believe we will ever see Ngannou in the UFC.
No,
again.
Goodbye. See ya.
Ngannou is the first champion. Oh, he also states that when Ngannou asked Dana or Mick Maynard, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Dana, though. When he asked him about, don't you think it's bad for business for a champion to be uncrowned, unceremoniously stripped? Dana said, go talk to Randy Couture. I did it to him 20 years ago. And then Francis talked to Randy Couture, and Couture was like, yeah, fuck that guy, basically. But Ngannou is the first UFC champion to never lose his title and be stripped and not forced out of the promotion, but leave the promotion since 2004 in BJ Penn.
Feels like he kind of left on his own, honestly, now. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
I don't know.
I think so.
I think dumb move. Because even after you lose to John Jones and get $8 million, you can still go fight Tyson Fury for a lot of money.
He couldn't. That was part of it. No, that was part of his UFC's, or that's what Francis stated. This has been for a little bit, though. Francis has been very public about how the UFC will not let him box under contract.
Even if he goes and fight John Jones one more fight, because that was always left on his contract.
He has no contract.
No, not anymore. He had one fight left.
He never had the contract.
So he had zero. He had no That whole thing about him getting one more fight, or he has the fight, was not true.
His contract ended on December 10th of this year. 13th. December 13th of this year. Of last year, technically, 2022. Yeah. After that period, Dana had a 4-month negotiation period. So this is where shit got fumbled on Twitter. We thought it was January 20th. It was actually December 10th. So the UFC would have had till
December 13th.
Yeah. Dana would have had until March 13th. Otherwise, 9 days after UFC 285 to renegotiate with Francis without anybody else. When Ariel asked Francis, this is another part that was like, when Ariel asked Francis about, do you know that to be true? The UFC is lifting their no negotiation clause and you can go talk to whoever you want. Francis was like, well, a lot of people have contacted me and MMA organizations have contacted me, but I'm not really sure. I don't know if I can negotiate with other people.
Bro, what is going on, dude? This guy. Oh my God.
Yeah. When he said that, I was like, dude, you need to get a manager, bro.
Dude, you need to shut the fuck up and just let someone talk for you. Jesus.
I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks like he came from nothing and he made millions of dollars and he's made better lives for his family and probably a lot of people from Cameroon. I don't think he's fucking it up. He's just not living up to the potential.
That's what I'm gonna get. He's not fucking it up. He's just like wasting it,
right?
Or leaving a lot on the table.
Yes, that's what he's doing.
Leaving a lot on the table.
So that's Francis Ngannou in a nutshell.
I don't know. He needs to get his shit together. Jesus. Seriously.
If I'm in Dana White's shoes, I don't know that I'd do anything differently. I gotta be honest with you. I like to blame Dana for as much as I can, but I don't think I can blame Dana for this.
I can't blame him. I mean, $8 million is $8 million without pay-per-views, may I add. So he's going to get paid even more after the pay-per-views. I think Francis is kind of running. He was gun shy against Derek
Lewis. It almost
Lewis.
Seems like that.
I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Dana also said that John Jones was extremely confident that if Francis Ngannou would be an easy fight for him. That's what Dana said, almost quote for quote. Jones was extremely confident that, and now I'm paraphrasing, Ngannou would be an easy fight.
He would be. John Jones is going to fuck up this division, Zach. It's going to...
I don't know.
8 fights in a year?
Yeah.
8 fights in a year?
Imagine that. 8 fights in a year, you make like 25 mil just off contract.
What's the most amount of fights he's had in a year?
John Jones? Yeah. He used to fight a lot.
That's
back
what
in
I'm
the day.
getting
Probably
at.
4 times.
Dude, he is itching. He is foaming at the mouth.
Dana has said that John Jones has wanted to fight for a year and a half, and it's only been Francis holding him up. Like, Jones has been trying to fight. Let's see. 2011, he had 4. That looks like the most.
Not without. Yeah. Did you count the one without the belt? Yeah.
It's 4. 2011 was 4, and those were his champion. Those were his fucking prime years, man.
He's better be even in his prime, even more.
If you look at this, John Jones isn't a finisher now. He's a decision guy, or at least he was for the last couple of years. But look at this period from 2009 to 2011. 7 finishes and a DQ, which is technically a finish as well, in 8 fights. So 8 fights, 8 finishes with 1 DQ loss. That's pretty crazy.
And then he went unanimous.
It's pretty crazy.
When did USADA come in?
That's a good question. I think it was like 2014. 2015. 2015. So it was right before the first Cormier fight. Or it was right after. Which makes sense because that was his first fucking suspension.
Interesting. Beat the piss out of Glover, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, he did.
Oh man. Head kick today. It is interesting that as soon as you say a lot more decisions, I mean, he did have 2 decisions before they stepped in, but maybe because they knew that he didn't know when they were coming and they knew it was happening soon.
I also noticed that as soon as USADA came in, we saw the brand new generation of fighter come in. Like before that, you had the Vitor Belforts, Chael Sonnens, Rashad Evans, Lyoto Machida, Quentin Jackson. So those guys were all great in their prime, even though Jones faced him a couple years after their prime. They were still, the old goats of the division, and then you have the Gustafsson, Teixeiras, Cormiers. So, dude, you want to talk about beating the brakes off of people? Look at John Jones and Anthony Smith. Almost 100 significant strike discrepancy. That's pretty crazy. Dominic Reyes was the first person to ever outstrike John Jones. Is that interesting to you? He did it on 44% significant strikes, and Jones on 62% significant strikes. But he did outstrike John Jones.
Isn't it crazy? Adesanya won the fight. Adesanya was calling. You were questioning it. I was questioning it. You were questioning it heavy, bro. And there is.
Was I?
Yes.
Heavy?
Heavy.
I don't know.
Yeah, heavy. We were both. I'm not saying. I'm not denying
it. John Jones at light heavyweight.
You said if he could get a head kick,
fuck out of Ciryl Adesanya.
He would fucking throw him out of the ring.
Oh my god.
He would throw it one hand. See ya.
Right on the Dana.
Yep. Dana, this is it. I won. Adesanya would go for a head kick. Jones just be like, boom, catch it. You fucking catch it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
John Jones, 84-inch reach. Takedown defense of 95%. Who's the only fighter ever to take down John Jones? He's been taken down twice, I think.
95%.
Wait, actually. Which is fucking nuts if you think about the fact that he's had 20 UFC fights.
I know. And think about
who's
how
the first
many
person to take him down?
Think about how many championships.
Yeah, right. Do you know who the first person to take him down?
First person to take him down? No. Dominic Reyes? Gustafsson? Yeah.
Cormier couldn't even take him down. Cormier is one of the greatest wrestlers in UFC history. And people want to talk about how John Jones isn't a great wrestler. John Jones took him down like 3 times. Slammed him down.
And then he fucking head.
But John Jones can't wrestle.
He wobbled back.
He can't fucking
did like that weird shoulder thing.
I mean, I guess there's no rivalry anymore. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That thing when they did on ESPN.
All right, so Gustafsson was the first. Oh, Cormier did take him down once. Okay, good for you, Good for you, Daniel. 1 for 8. Good job. You were 1 for 8 in your second fight. Is that your first? That is your first fight. You were 1 for 8, and then you were 0 for 3. So 1 for 11 for takedowns for Daniel Cormier against John Jones. But John Jones can't wrestle. To all of our Twitter fans out there giving us shit against John Jones for the last month and a half about how John Jones isn't really a great wrestler. Yeah, fuck you. Shut up. Shut up. Just shut up. 95% takedown defense.
Just shut up.
He's going to take it. Hold on. All right, let's do some math real quick, okay? 95%. He's been taken down twice with takedown defense of 95%. That means that, all right, 2 takedowns for 5%. That means that he's been there. People have attempted 40 takedowns on John Jones. He's been taken down twice. That's what that means. And Cormier, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, is one of them.
You gotta talk like that more often. Who are you trying to imitate? Hang on.
Just fucking, I don't know, some putts.
Who? Yeah, what does he look like?
What does he look like? He looks a lot like me. He's a white guy with Cheeto crumbs in his beard, with glasses on, who's been staring into the TV for 8 hours. And have you ever seen the fucking South Park World of Warcraft episode?
Yeah.
Of the guys doing this shit?
Yeah.
That's them. That's who I'm thinking of. Daniel Cormier, great in UFC. Yeah, that's
that guy didn't even talk in that episode. He just
he was. Oh, yeah, you're right. No, he didn't. That was Cartman and the boys.
Shit on his dad's. Dude, that was so funny.
Shit on his mom.
Yeah, on his mom.
Yeah,
Clean it up.
Ooh, that was a big one, Pookie Kids.
Jesus.
All right, we got to move on because we got a couple more things. Make sure you guys drop in on our Twitter at @complete_MMA and our community MMA Complete Accumulation, where we are talking about Francis Ngannou, John Jones, and Ciryl Gane, basically non-fucking stop. We're going to go into something we haven't talked about on Twitter a lot, and it is the second biggest fight to break over the last week. And that is the trilogy between Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards, which is set to main event UFC 286, March 18th. Official. Set to main event the O2 Arena in London. First pay-per-view in UK in a long time. Before we get further into this fight, Paddy Pimblett will not be appearing on this card. He's already said that.
Oh, yeah, you got surgery.
Mm-hmm. Tom Aspinall says that he is trying to get cleared from his doctor so that he can compete on this card.
Interesting. I like that.
Who do you want to see Aspinall fight? I want to see Aspinall fight Blades again. I really think that's a good fight.
It's a great fight. Well, he's not going to. I'm winning. Derek Lewis.
I don't want to see that. Aspinall is so much better than Derek Lewis.
I
Maybe
know.
like a Jairzinho Rosenstrike.
See, I'd rather see him fight Lewis than that, man.
Rosenstrike's better.
You think so?
Yeah, Rosenstrike's doing very well lately.
Okay.
He just
Well,
knocked
I
out
did
Chris
bet on him.
Daukaus.
Did bet on him.
Chris Daukaus, I
Knocked
believe.
him out.
Yep, knocked out Daukaus. His only losses are to Ngannou, Gane, Blades, and Volkov. So Rosenstrike's pretty good.
Okay, that's good to know. I mean, can we keep that on our radar?
Oh yeah,
Future bets.
oh yeah, and he's a knockout artist.
Yeah.
Rosenstrike can knock people the fuck out.
Speaking of betting,
He knocked out Chris Daukaus in like 20
I
seconds.
lost
Remember
the
that?
bag last night, bro. I'm fucking betting on Tampa.
Oh really?
Why are you smiling?
I didn't.
Why
know
are you
bet,
smiling?
'cause I didn't know you bet.
No, you're smiling after I told you.
I'm not smiling.
You
I'm
would.
happy.
Oh yeah.
No. We're smiling because we're having a new conversation. And I'm interested
Yeah,
to see
sure.
where this topic
Yeah,
goes.
yeah.
Do you think I'm happy that you lost money? Yeah, thank God, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's just my face.
You
That's
say,
just
you
my
know,
face.
Peter Griffin. You know, Peter. That's what you know.
This is my face.
Yeah.
I got RPGF.
Well, we gotta keep on the cut. All right, Usman Edwards 3.
Usman Edwards 3.
Edwards is winning. You're crazy. Usman saying that I thought about this today. Usman saying that there was a release of pressure from losing that fight. What the fuck? The fuck does that even mean? The fuck does that mean? The pressure. It's like going to the Super Bowl and losing and being like, oh, I'm glad I don't have the pressure anymore. It's like, what do you mean you don't?
I would equate it to a little.
It doesn't make sense to me.
I would equate it a little differently. I would think it's like.
I wouldn't.
Back-to-back Super Bowl champion losing, or no, what? No. I would think of it like a team that's 15-0, losing in week 16, and then being like, all right, pressure's off to go undefeated. Now we can just worry about winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that is that. You don't want to be great.
You can still be great even if you're not undefeated.
Great, but you're not going to break the record that you were almost at. You're never going to get back to that point. That's once in a lifetime. And you're saying, oh, the pressure's off. Like, bro, what are you talking about?
What, have you never heard that type of
No, I'm trying to, what, you don't want to be great?
He's already great.
No, you could not be as great as he was.
I think he still could be. I think if he wins
All right,
off like
but,
3 or 4 more
this is
times.
not what you see what you're getting, trying to nitpick, but it's not working because he's great. But don't you think he would be more great?
Yes.
That's what I'm getting at.
I agree. That he
You're
would
gonna
be more
really,
great.
oh, thank God I don't have the pressure. Dude, what the fuck do you talk about? What are you talking about?
I agree that he would be more great. I think that there's a certain
Obviously.
part of when you're up at that level, because he was about to break GSP's record of consecutive wins in the UFC.
GSP's watching that fight, dude, with popcorn. He's probably like, oh, he's fucking celebrating. The
Yeah.
fucking popcorn's
100%.
going everywhere, dude. Popping champagne. It's like he just won the fight.
Daddy's still the best.
Yeah, you know
Like
what I
that
mean?
shit.
Like,
But I think that Kamaru now, and I don't know this for sure. I haven't talked to the guy in a long time. So
I talked to him last night, dude.
yeah,
I
is he
talked to him
feeling
last
good?
night.
Is he feeling good?
He's nervous.
Yeah.
He's nervous.
Pressure's
Shaking his
back on.
boots.
Pressure's
Ali
back
was in
on.
the background. His hand's still hurting.
Yep.
You know, it's what if we get another Kevin Holland Wonderboy type of situation where he's blocking his kicks a lot and he breaks his hand again.
Can I say that Leon Edwards is not famous for his kicks? I know he just got a huge kick knockout, but he doesn't throw that many kicks. Go watch the first fight. It's not like he's throwing head kicks every round. That was a great combo. But
set it up.
Do I
Pull it out
think
of
that
fire.
means that he will
You
throw?
gotta pull it out of fire. And he pulled that shit out of fucking fire. Burning, scorching hot.
Absolutely. I don't think we would see him throw the level of head kicks that a Wonder Boy would to break Kamaru Usman's hand. The fact that Usman's hand is fucked up, or at least seemed to be fucked up like last month, is definitely interesting to me. Not even last month; it was like 2 weeks ago.
Still wearing a brace.
So,
I mean, when is this though? And
2 months away.
Yeah, we got time here.
Right.
Yo, if you're wearing a brace 2 months out of a fight.
Well, he was wearing the brace like 3 weeks ago. It was the end of December.
I would not, me personally, if that was me punching a lot using my hand, I would not feel comfortable with that. But that's just me. I feel like it would break very easily. I don't feel like it's fully
something
healed.
to fucking watch out for. Do you know if it's the right or the left hand?
I can see this fight being pushed back.
I don't think so.
And if Tom Aspinall's ready,
think so.
because they can have.
But listen, it's Leon they're building the card around because you don't have Patty, you don't have probably Tom Aspinall. You have some other English guys, Makayev's going on there, but it's Leon Edwards defending his belt in England. And I think that if Kamaru doesn't fight, I think we're going to see someone step in, maybe a Kamaev. And I think that's when the UFC is going to come to Usman mid-February, a little after the pay-per-view in February.
Dude?
And he's going to go to Usman like, hey, like, how the fuck are you doing?
Kobe deserves it more than Kamaev.
I'd agree with that, but I think Kamaev makes more money for it. And Kamaev has a big following in Europe as it is too, so that would make it even better. Yeah, and it would probably bring Darren Till.
So much shit in Europe. Well, maybe not. Well, I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, I'm sure you would. Oh
Probably.
my God, are you kidding?
What?
I wonder if Dana would want that because, you know, the UK is very supportive of the UFC right now. And the UFC, Europe fans obviously would not appreciate Colby going into Europe and saying whatever the fuck he would say about it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Dana would love the publicity and it being a lot more of a drawing. But I wonder if Dana would say to himself, like, maybe book Colby against Leon when we're not in the UK because we want to savor what's going on in the UK right now.
I think it gives Usman a reason not to back out of the fight. And it's like, Usman, listen, if you back out, Kobe's getting this fight, just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then if Kobe beats Edwards, then it gives Usman, well, probably is going to beat Kobe, but what if, you know what I mean?
But what if Kamaev gets it and beats Leon? Like,
what if Usman has to fight Kamaev?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm getting at. And then Usman's even farther back, and then he loses.
If you're Usman, this is
great pontification.
If you're Usman, you would rather fight Leon than Kamaev, I think.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
What I mean? So that's why they're like, all right, you better make this date, or Kamaev gets it, and then
Kobe gets it. I think Kobe gets it. We're gonna do a poll. We're gonna do a couple polls off this one topic. I think Kobe gets it. Kobe's only lost to Usman, right?
Correct.
It feels like he's the next.
Well, no, he lost to Warley Alves like 9 years ago.
That's what I'm getting at, though.
He's only lost to Usman,
basically. Yeah.
But Kamaev hasn't lost. And
yeah,
Kamaev beat Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, but he's still behind Kobe.
I agree. I would agree with that.
So Kobe,
but it's close enough. You know, they were talking about Bilal Muhammad getting a title shot.
If
Bilal Muhammad can get a title shot, Kamaev can get a title shot.
Kobe gets a title shot.
I just think Kamaev has more momentum right now.
Yeah, more.
And I think he's a bigger draw.
Who wins Kevin Hall and Kobe? And I'm not. This is kind of like
Kevin Hall and Kobe.
That's what I mean. Like, Kamaev hasn't faced the.
Oh, you're saying Kamaev called.
Yeah, like he hasn't really faced. Like, yeah, he beat Gilbert Burns, but compare Gilbert Burns to Kevin Hall, and you know what I mean? Like, Gilbert Burns, Kamaev. Fuck, dude. Honestly, depending on what the line is, I might fucking bet on Gilbert Burns if they face.
I'm saving this for the next segment because we're going to talk about this pay-per-view coming up. But I have to tell you something about Gilbert Burns. But remind me because we're not done talking about Usman Edwards yet.
Yeah. Okay. So it's very curious. I would probably bet on Gilbert Burns if he fought Kamaev again. Really would.
I don't know.
I think it's a great trilogy fight. I think it makes a lot of sense for Kobe to step in. Usman's hands still done, even though Ali says he's fine. If he's fine, he's fine, and he can step in and fight.
Mhm.
So I doubt this. I doubt Usman's going to step out.
I don't either. But if he refucks up his hand in the second round, that could drastically change the fight.
Oh, absolutely. Look what happened to Kevin Holland.
So, I mean,
We got into a lot of Kevin Holland, but
yeah,
he is tied into
of course.
this shit.
I don't know. I can't bet against Usman. I just think that he was dominating that fight besides the first round, and then he got knocked
Definitely
the fuck
dominating.
out. So I think we're going to see a lot of that again. I think we're going to see a decision win for Usman. Maybe we'll see a knockout if his hand's not fucked up, but I would give it to Usman personally. I just think Leon, when you look at his trajectory over the last year and a half, it's like, yeah, I poked Bilal Muhammad into a no contest. Yeah, beat the brakes off of Nate Diaz in a fight Nate Diaz shouldn't have been in, except you almost got knocked out in the fifth. And then you got a really crazy knockout in the fifth. You know, all props to your knockout, but at the end of the day, to me, that's like 3 fluke fights in a row. It's going to catch up to you eventually, I think, personally.
So Usman by decision.
Yeah, I'm going to go Usman by decision. And we didn't say it earlier, but I'm also going Jones by decision. Oh, no, I'm going Jones by knockout, I said.
Wait, if you are going by decision.
I just, clicks.
I don't know.
But
you said second round. Now you're saying fourth round. We don't know what you're going to choose. You might choose submission by the end of this.
You think so?
I don't know.
John Jones by submission? John Jones by a twister.
You did say second round.
John Jones by inverted triangle choke in the northwest corner of the octagon on the proper 12 logo. No. All right. That's it for a week's news of UFC from MMA Complete. If you guys want to see this stuff as it's breaking, make sure you join our Twitter at @complete_MMA. And for breaking news, go to our community page, MMA Complete Accumulation, where we are breaking news to our exclusive followers so that you guys get real live, up-to-date news from great content creators such as me.
We're doing that on our regular news feed.
Yeah.
I feel like we do a lot of polls in the community, and
yeah.
I just saw it's mainly for other people to.
I've noticed that we have a lot more people in the community now, so I don't know if our
55.
polls, so I don't know if our polls have been getting a little bit more than they did because they used to only get. I mean, this is what 3 weeks old now, so they were only getting like 10, 12 votes, and yeah, they're still all right. They're
not even 2 weeks, I don't think.
All right. So UFC 283 coming up this weekend. Make sure you guys tune into the podcast on Thursday, where we will also have Steve, and we will be continuing our pick'ems, which we will be doing for every single event this year. Austin was the victor of last week's, going 7 out of 11 picks correctly, including Sean Strickland. UFC 283. Main evented by Glover Teixeira versus Jamal Hill for the light heavyweight championship. Co-main evented by Davis and Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno for the flyweight championship. And co-main evented by Neil Magny versus Gilbert Burns. We also have Jessica Andrade versus Lauren Murphy in a women's flyweight bout. And Paul Craig versus Johnny Walker in the main card. Now,
you want to talk about that real quick, or are you done?
No, I was going to talk about the card.
Oh, we are talking about the card.
Yeah. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. I say we can get 10 more minutes in, if you don't mind. If you want to end it, we can.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have like 2
I thought you were
things.
ending it. It sounded like you were ending it there.
Oh, no. I just have 2 things to talk about in this card, and then we can do whatever. 1, Neil Magny. You ready for this?
We actually got a lot of votes on the Paul Craig one.
I know. Are you ready for this? You sitting down? Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Neil Magny has like a 9-inch reach advantage over Gilbert Burns. I'm not making this up. I saw this today. This really intrigued me.
I don't know.
9-inch reach advantage for Neil Magny. He's also 4 inches taller.
I think he's going to take him down to the ground.
Gilbert Burns, I think, mops the floor. Gilbert Burns is like a 2-time world jiu-jitsu champion. Gilbert Burns fucks a lot of people up on the ground. I think standing, Neil Magny might piece up Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns, do you watch UFC Embedded series?
No.
That's
the CSD Lunch guy finally liked our tweet.
That's the YouTube page. That's the YouTube documentaries before each pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Gilbert Burns talks about how he has like 1,000 people coming to this event, and it kind of makes him nervous. And he has a 9-inch reach disadvantage. in Brazil. I kind of want a bet on Neil Magny now. I'm not going to lie to you.
Do it.
Once you also realize, are you ready? Are you still sitting down?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Once you also realize that Neil Magny is plus 350 for this fight.
I know. He went down. Gilbert Burns was minus 550.
Gilbert Burns, Neil. Oh, how do I have Burns and Magny? I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Gilbert Burns, Glover Teixeira, and Neil Magny at plus 1835. Looks real good to me. I'm just saying.
Dude, how did we do so good in that span?
I don't know.
You hit like plus 1200, plus 800.
We did really well for the first year. That's fine. This will be our year.
No,
again.
this is it.
We'll do great again.
This is our year, dude. This is our year.
And the second thing I want to talk about is I'm doubling down on my pick for Glover Teixeira.
Okay.
That's all. That's all I really got.
All right.
Glover Teixeira's number went up, by the way. He was plus 105 a couple hours ago. Now he's plus 115. And Davison Figueiredo's number went up because he was minus 105. Now he's plus 100.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about picking all three underdogs.
I can't believe Figueiredo's underdog. I don't get that. I don't know. It's just me.
He has a finish and Figueiredo doesn't, I guess. People like Moreno more. He's a more likable guy. I don't know. To me, Figueiredo seems
like the best bet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would
Hey,
say-
look at Sean Strickland was just plus 102 and he just mopped the floor with him.
I would say Moreno is better on the ground by a little bit, but Figueiredo
Maybe better cardio.
probably better
Yeah,
standing.
they're still both good.
They're both flyweights. They're not going to really get gassed.
I think that's going to be an even fight. I feel like if
Yeah.
you're going to bet on Figueiredo, bet on him now. Terrence McKinney's fighting too, dude.
Yep. The other ones I want to talk about is the over 1.5 is minus 125 in Hill versus Teixeira. I might put some money on that. I might put a good amount of money on that.
Okay, be careful. You know what happens with rounds.
What is the over under for Figueiredo Moreno? They don't even have it. Burns Magny, that fight will probably go. They don't have that either. Do they not have any over unders except for that? Oh, all right. So Terrence McKinney's minus 130.
Oh my God, he keeps going up.
Why? What was he?
Minus 115.
Okay. I'm surprised that it's even that close. JL Talmade is minus 1,000. Mauricio, who is plus 180.
Yeah, I saw that. That is interesting. I don't know why that's like that either.
Well, all right.
I feel like either Hua or Paul Craig's gonna win.
Here's the thing. This card is really gotten scrambled together over the last month. Like, there's a lot of fighters that are native to Brazil that the UFC like just added for this event. Ihor Poteria is one of them.
Gregory Rodriguez is
Terrence
winning.
McKinney is fighting a guy, Ismail Bonfim, who's fought on the Dana White Contender Series and lost in a fight in the UFC. And then his brother was fighting on this card. I guess he's not anymore.
Gregory Rodriguez is gonna fucking win. That's a
Bruno
lot for me.
Ferreira is a good fighter, though.
That's a lot.
It's a short notice fight, so I would say RoboCop's gonna win. But Bruno Ferreira is tough, and he has huge hands. I'm not really souped for this card. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, the McKinney fight's good for the prelims.
Yeah.
Jailton Almeida, I think, will have a huge impact. I think
Can you
first
put
round sub.
Terrence McKinney on there. Are you betting on Paul Craig?
No, I'm gonna stay away from that fight. I like Paul
Steve's
Craig.
gonna bet on. I like Paul.
I'm gonna stay away from it because I think Johnny Walker's really improved over the last year.
I think knock him out. I think knock Paul Craig out. And can you take Neil Magny off?
Figueiredo, Teixeira, McKinney plus 660. With Magny plus 3,300.
Bro, imagine. Yo, Kyle Soares just hit a banger of one.
Nice.
Imagine though, just a nice $3,000 in the fucking pocket. You'd walk out of that bitch at one happy clam.
Mm-hmm. So would.
One happy fucking clam.
All right. So Thursday we're making our picks, and that's where we're going to talk more about this card. So I'm going to save some of this talk because during then we'll have the markets open too. We'll be able to talk about over-unders and methods and shit like that.
Yo, there's this new thing. You can literally bet on when the fight's going to get finished.
Like what time?
Yeah, the time. Every second, every 60 seconds.
That's got to be
up
a
to the
pretty
fifth round.
good odds.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and I think we should look into that next week. Like, we could literally spend an hour just talking about that. And I've never thought. I think
don't
we've
know.
talked about.
I don't
that.
know if that's worth it, dude.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm not saying like that. I say we could talk about it a lot about it. You know.
Could you say like within? I'll tell you what. For a Sergey Pavlovich fight, I'll bet on 44 seconds into the first round.
Well, you're not going to get that good of odds, but you're going to get better odds than betting on him by just knockout.
Exactly.
You bet on him first 2 minutes. You can bet on both.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Make sure you guys go check out our Twitter at @complete_MMA, where you can find the latest and greatest up-to-date content that we're posting every single day. Make sure you also go check out our Twitter community, MMA Complete Accumulation, which is growing very rapidly and we're very proud of right here on the screen.
Zach's proud of it. I'm doing this for Zach.
It's one of the better ways to get in contact with us. We like and reply to everybody that does comment on here. It's a good way to have conversation with us. And you guys can tell us what you'd like to see on the podcast coming in the future. So that is on board. We have UFC 283 in 5 days on Saturday, January 21st. We have a podcast on Thursday where we're going to be making all of our picks for UFC 283 with Steve. And
with Steve, not me.
Steve.
I won't be here. I might be here.
Really?
I might be here. Probably be here.
Okay. All right. That's going to do it for us. John Jones is back. Francis Ngannou is gone. The UFC is crazy, and I love it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will see you on Thursday, and make sure you go join our Twitter @complete_MMA.